Welcome back to You're Done, the podcast for the girls, gays, and theys. Hosted by me, Brendan.
And me, Tasha. And on our podcast, we talk about whatever we want. So strap in or strap on, because today we're yapping about RuPaul.
Yeah, we're doing another deep dive into a celebrity that we're obsessed with.
Yes, and I love a good deep dive with you.
And I love going in on my research.
Literally, you are Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Oh my God.
I really
oh my
do.
God. Yeah. So people really liked our Wendy Williams one.
Very much so.
And RuPaul is someone that I am personally obsessed with. And I recently listened to his audiobook. And so this felt very reminiscent.
Okay. Yeah.
So this isn't, I think you were saying, we're going to be doing one about Drag Race.
Yes. For this season, we want to make sure we have one for the season.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to know more about the mother.
The person who created it all.
Person that created it all. Blurry and all.
Yeah. So I'm going to be taking Tasha through all the research that I've done.
I'm so excited.
And
I did zero research just so I could prepare to listen to you.
Well, you were about to be educated.
Ooh,
Yeah. So we're going to go from like little baby RuPaul to all grown up, multiple international seasons of a TV show RuPaul, and you're gonna
all grown up.
Yeah. But before we get into all things RuPaul, we should do a catch up.
Yes.
Do. So it was recently Valentine's Day.
Yes,
Tash,
it was.
tell me about how was your Valentine's Day weekend?
Mine was muy cute.
Was it?
Muy.
I love to hear that.
Typically, Angel and I do something for Valentine's Day, but it was never really, really big. But
okay.
He was like, I said, okay, it's important to say. I said, babe, do you want to plan Valentine's Day this time? Right?
Okay.
And he's like, okay. And I didn't say this way back. It was maybe a week and a half ago or something.
Oh,
maybe 2 weeks ago or something.
Okay.
And he said, heard, girl.
Yeah.
Heard. And he booked a spa day.
Love.
Yeah. Then booked a really nice restaurant that was in the Four Seasons,
We'll
y'all.
put up a picture here because you both looked so
no one
good.
could even speak to me when I was in the Four Seasons. I was like, you know how freaking amazing I think I look and feel? And yeah.
You were the fifth season.
I was the fifth season. Yes, I was. And then the only thing he asked for was to go to see Avatar.
Wow.
I was like, I can do that.
What a
I can do that.
Yeah.
So we booked it at the VIP.
Okay.
You know how much it is for 2 tickets for VIP?
It's like $60 bucks.
It's exactly that.
But I love the VIP, so I go.
It's a vibe. And then we ordered food. And the only thing is, because the movie's super long, I'm like, well, your girl's gonna do a 1-2 edible.
Yeah.
Right? So I did a half of one.
Yeah.
And then this movie is
it's really long.
Okay, we got there. We saw it at 12:30. That's when the what's it called? The trailer started.
Yeah. Okay.
4:00. I'm like, homie,
we're not done yet.
Homie,
you got another act still.
No, because our whole goal is to also go to Costco after.
Okay.
Costco closes at 5 on Sundays.
Well,
and so I'm like, is it done? I think it finished at 4:05. I've never jumped up out of a movie that fast, right? But I don't know if I saw the second one. I don't remember. But this movie was, gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie.
It's a beautiful movie. Sure. But I was like, holy jickets. It is so damn long.
There's a lot in it.
Yeah.
Eddie and I did it for Christmas Day.
Yes, I recall.
And it's a long
long film. But yeah, it was an action-packed weekend. My dineros are in the negativities. But did we have a great time? Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And so we'll probably not do something as big as this another time for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a great time.
Oh, I love to hear that. Cute. Yeah. Love Day.
The fifth season,
The fifth season. It's a good one. Tasha, the fifth season. So yeah, for Valentine's Day, Eddie and I went to, we've been wanting to go to somewhere that has live music. I don't know why. It was just the vibe.
Why not?
So we went to,
it was nice.
Yeah. So we went to this place called the Bercy that's across from the dog fountain. When I was texting you and you couldn't get it, I was like, I'm not really sure
you
how
said
to.
by the dog fountain? I was like, what restaurant's the dog fountain?
No, I was like, it's called the Bercy.
No, but I thought you were saying that the restaurant is beside another restaurant called the Dog Fountain.
I've put it all. Anyways, I hear you. And I was like, as you're texting me this, I was like, I don't have a way to clarify this more.
Oh, by closer to St. Lawrence Market.
I don't know why it was. My brain was like, I have nothing left for you.
I had nothing.
So we went there. It's pretty nice. It had like a prefix menu, which was like totally fine.
I love that.
The hilarious part is, so we're seated next to this couple, and they just were such an odd couple. Like from the get-go, when we sat down, I thought they were fighting. Like they seemed well, but then they didn't seem, and then I didn't know if they actually knew each other. It seemed like maybe this was like a first date, or like
who would have their first date on Valentine's Day?
I don't know, but
That's
seemed
diabolical.
It seemed really weird, and they were like, I don't know, they didn't seem to be getting along, and then they were getting along, and then she's talking about her kids, and I was like, oh, but he looks like he's married because he has a wedding ring. And then at one point his phone flashes, and the background is like her with their kids, and I was like, okay, wait, so you are together? Why do you guys talk to each other like this? At one point she's speaking French to him, but they're speaking English the whole time. It was so random.
Oh, maybe it's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of stuff. Like
maybe. Yeah, it was just a lot.
I would just love to meet a spy, but anyways.
She was giving us such stank looks the whole time.
Oh.
I think part of it was...
In which kind of way?
Well, it's because it'll be the way that you dislike
No, I don't like that. I don't like that.
So the way that the setup was like, it was like a booth that wraps around, and we were sat right at the end.
Okay.
And so rather than sitting directly facing each other, I sat on the booth part that faces this way, and he sat on the booth. So we weren't sitting right next to each other,
okay,
but we were sitting closer to each other. And so I'm looking basically down all the tables.
Okay.
And the woman is looking like at me.
Got it.
But part of the reason I sat there was because originally when I sat facing Eddie, I'm also facing the woman directly. And she looked so grumpy. I was like, I'm going to have a horrible time if I sit here.
Fair.
So I'll sit closer to you.
I just need elbow space.
Yeah, we had lots of elbow space.
Okay, good.
Yeah. We were not seated like side by side.
Yeah, I can't say that.
I can only think of you whenever I see that now.
It's just like, move. Move. Like,
get out of my way.
I'm
hungry.
I'll still talk to you, but like, just move.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was wild. Then they got up and they left, and then there was these two guys sitting at the end of the table that looked like two totally like super straight bros. I'm like, what are you doing at the prefix Valentine's Day menu?
Let them be friends.
I guess it was just
why not? Maybe,
why are you here?
You know, there's Galentine's Day.
I guess so. It is a Guy-in-Times
Maybe
Day.
It's Bro-a-Times Day.
Bro-a-Times.
You know, maybe like, you know, you just lost your whatever. I just lost my whatever. You know what? Let's just go.
Sad. Well, you know who doesn't need
sad.
You know who doesn't need a Broentine? RuPaul, Andre Charles.
Ooh.
So let me get you all into this topic.
Okay.
My title for this is RuPaul from underground drag performer to cultural icon.
Ooh, is there a quiz?
There could be if you want.
I do like that.
There will be multiple moments, but the first thing you should know is that RuPaul is not just a drag queen. She is the queen of drag.
Yes.
Do you know that clip?
Yes. It was which with
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon, yes. And then Jimmy Fallon was like showing the cover.
Yeah.
And then quickly thought that when Ru was like kind of read him, he's like, uh-oh, what did I do? Oh, did I just say something that was like homophobic or just he like
his life flashed before his eyes.
His life, his money, his family, everything flashed.
I'll put that clip in right now.
This is the first time a drag queen has ever been put on the cover
of... drag queen? A drag queen? I am the queen of drag.
I apologize. I'm embarrassed.
Definitely, she is both a drag queen and the queen of drag.
Yes.
So, in terms of the things to think about, RuPaul is like transformed drag. I think when she first started, it was like an underground nightlife, and now it's literally like a global primetime Emmy-winning television show.
Yeah.
And she's a multimillionaire. She has multiple Emmys. She's launched multiple international franchises. But his life is like very interesting to think about. So I was saying this at the beginning. Part of why I was inspired by this is so I don't usually like like autobiographical books.
Okay.
But if I do, I'm going to listen to them read by the person.
Like Tina Knowles.
That's right.
Right.
Hers.
I listen to you sometimes.
Yeah, that was good. So I listened to this one. It's called The House of Hidden Meanings. And it's just like he has had like a wild life to think about, like where he came from as a kid to like now. You're like, what the hell? It seems kind of impossible. So there's
like me thinking if I can be a millionaire. It's possible.
It is possible.
Like, it's possible.
That's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll see how. But
so in the episode today, we're gonna explore his early life and formative years, underground club era, the '90s mainstream explosion to quiet years and reinvention. Then the creation of RuPaul's Drag Race, and then we'll kind of wrap it up with his cultural impact and like the complicated legacy.
Listen to the organization.
Yeah, mama.
She
You
came
got
ready
this.
to slay.
So, early life. So, RuPaul Andre Charles was born in 1960 on November 17th in San Diego, California. And his name, Ru, is his mom gave it to him, is based after like roux, the thing you make for
Like for sauce?
Yeah, so it's like
but
the base of gumbo.
R-O-U-X.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And was like a nod to his Louisiana heritage.
Look at that. I never knew that. Did you guys know that? Did you know that before?
I had learned it in the book, but no, I didn't know that about his name. Something else that's interesting is that while his mom was pregnant with him, so his mom's name is Ernestine. He was super close with her. He has 3 older sisters. When his mom was pregnant with him, she went to a psychic, and the psychic said, the baby you're about to have is about to be like a superstar, amazing. So you need to give them a name that's like a name that only a superstar would have. Gooped. So that's where RuPaul comes from. Crazy, right?
That is actually, listen,
yeah.
I believe in these things, man.
Well, and in some ways it's like the chicken or the egg, right? Like because he was born thinking that, he like gave him the ability to do it, but also maybe the stars did align. I do live for him being a fellow Scorpio. That's a big one for me. And so his key influences growing up was like growing up in a household of mostly women. His parents separated like pretty early. He's talked about, and there's like clips that you'll see later on in this episode of like he was using makeup as like a 5-year-old, and he never really got any kind of flack from it because it was like a house full of women and they were like, whatever, you go. But he credits his mom for being like the blueprint for his confidence because she was stylish, independent, unapologetic, and emotionally strong.
You said Ernestine?
Ernestine, yeah.
That's like giving, like, okay, so his mom was probably born in like maybe the 30s or something.
Yeah.
Black, like it's giving
yes.
black. Like,
and it feels like
Ernestine.
Yes. It also feels like having gone through this, it feels very reminiscent of a Beyonce. There's so many parallels to like that kind of stuff besides like I mean the fact that obviously her mom is still alive and different things, but
and I'm sure you'll probably mention this, so I'm sorry if I skip.
No,
but
go
like
for it.
Since Donna Summer,
yes, huge influence. Yeah.
So I understand that
totally
that vibe is when you grow up with that.
So I have a thought. RuPaul's concept of femininity was shaped less by drag queens and more by watching women. Do you think you see that in the way that he presents?
Okay, bring me back that question again.
So RuPaul wasn't inspired by, like, is inspired by drag queens, but was more so quotes being inspired by women.
Well, then obviously, if Ru is the queen of drag, then garbage existed prior to her. So,
but do you sort of see that in her
all
drag
women, like all drag queens get from amazing women.
Totally.
You need to have a mirror of excellence in order to, act it out.
But I would say that like that's actually more so like in the past. Now I think most drag queens are inspired by other drag queens. And you can kind of see that because their faces look the same.
Yeah, there's like a similar beat.
There's like a drag face.
Yeah, there's a drag face beat. Yeah, I get that.
Well, and it's important to know that like when RuPaul started doing drag, it was not the sort of like high femme.
No.
It was like very like gender fuck would be what he used as a term. And like it was very like punk rock and just like sort of.
I recall that.
And so part of his life he talks about is that like he has always had a big love for cars, which you see in a lot of the things that he does.
I get it.
Drag
I
Race.
just had a moment.
Yeah, Drag Race.
I never knew that.
Yeah, you also like if you watch the Netflix show AJ and the Queen, it was about a drag queen.
I did watch that. Yeah.
That's actually somewhat semi-autobiographical because when he was young, he used to drive cars across the America for his uncle who had like a car sales business. So he literally spent hours and hours and hours driving and is like loves driving because of it.
What a switch up in life.
Yeah, and this is one of the things I think that I have loved doing the research about this is that so much of Drag Race, the show, is somewhat self-referential for him. So like, the show references itself.
Yes.
But a lot of it references him. And there are some things that are really obvious. And then there's some things like this car thing that you're like, oh, you wouldn't really know unless you knew that about his life, which I found really cool. It almost like makes the show more...
Yeah, because you're like, ah.
Yeah, totally. So then he moves to Atlanta from San Diego when he's 15.
Okay.
And he goes there because he's attending the Northside School for Performing Arts. And it was because he like knew from the beginning of his life he wanted to be a famous person in show business.
I mean, you were born to be, so one would have to be.
Yeah, and the stars kind of aligned because that time in Atlanta around the 70s, early 80s was like huge for queer nightlife. It was like it was like sort of the focal point for a lot of
and that
people.
Still exists in Atlanta.
It does, but it's not. I feel like people, when they think of queer nightlife, they think of New York. They think of LA.
But I think if you think of Black queer nightlife, you think of Atlanta.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But at the time, Atlanta, I think there was some like socio-political stuff happening. It was actually just Atlanta was the hub above both of those other places.
Interesting.
And so while he was there, that's where he meets Lady Bunny.
Oh, Lady Bunny.
Yeah. So Lady Bunny is obviously one of RuPaul's like longest time collaborators. Mm-hmm. They met just as like friends and then as roommates and then have both become like mega drag queens because of it. Isn't that so? Yeah. Slay.
Same. Well, look back and say that.
And so going through that, they had this like, there was a lot of like punk and new wave. So that's where sort of some of his early inspirations come from. A lot of what he was doing, because they had like no money, was like DIY stuff, experimental. He was really like, RuPaul, when you watch the show, is really into like kooky, weird, crazy queens. Kooky. And it's because that was like what originally he started to do.
That's interesting because like also now when you think back at the name and like his mom naming that, like every drag queen has a drag name.
Yeah.
Whilst RuPaul said, my drag name is
it's me.
My name.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is amazing.
She said, I'm going straight, like, I don't need another name.
I am the blueprint.
Yeah. Truly.
Follow as I do.
It's so crazy.
So you think of like Ru met Lady Bunny. I'm pretty sure
that's not her name.
If it is,
she signed the lease, Lady Bunny.
If that's what it is, good for you, right?
Yeah.
But like, I just thought about that.
Yeah, and so it is really crazy to just also be like any superstar to be able to just go by one name. Ooh. Like that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people actually don't know RuPaul's full name. Like,
no, actually, I don't think I ever knew that.
Andre Charles. Oh, I think is a great name.
It's like a set of first names.
Totally.
It's iconic. Just choose one. Yeah. It's like
pick one.
Just pick one. Today I'm.
Well,
Ru.
I think
Today
that kind
I'm
of
Paul.
about mine because mine's Brendan David Bailey. All of three of those could be first names.
Yeah, that's true.
Not as much like
Bailey.
RuPaul.
Bailey is more like it can be both for sure.
Did you know any Baileys growing up? I knew like 4.
Maybe I did, but maybe they just weren't that memorable. So if one of you are listening,
it's
I'm
usually
so
a girl
sorry.
name, but
yeah,
I'll take
I've heard
it.
That is more of a girl's name.
So take you back. He's in Atlanta. This is the early 80s. And so RuPaul is like doing these shows with his friends that he's in a punk band and they're just trying to do anything. Originally, he really wanted to be a musician. He wanted to sing. That was like sort of the angle he was going for. And he was like, I will do anything to do that. Putting up pictures of himself everywhere. Like he was like the queen of self-promotion.
Love that.
And in doing so, he eventually got this sort of opportunity to be a part of this Atlanta public access variety show called The American Music Show. So him and his friends would like go to this show. It was a variety show and they would just like do stuff on it. They would perform, they would do whatever. And people loved it. So just like kept taking off and it kept getting more and
Is it
more
a weekly
attention.
thing or?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
And it went on for a while. He appeared on it about a dozen times. It was chaotic, low budget. There was like campy segments, and then it helped to build like a cult following. So very grassrootsy, sort of.
Mhm.
I mean, you also didn't have social media at the time, so it
You
wasn't
really had to work a
accessible.
lot harder to gain any kind of
Notoriety,
popularity and
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
So then, have you ever
Through the newspapers.
Yeah,
Through
the newspapers and the
through the
radio.
Village Voice.
Yeah. So have you ever heard of Star Booty? Can you
I mean, other than
yours? A couple of Star Booties.
Star Booties? No, I'm not.
So if you go back and watch any of like Drag Race, Star Booty comes up kind of not super regularly, but it is a thing that he sort of references on the show.
Okay.
But it was originally this underground film that he was a part of that was called RuPaul is Star Booty. Came out in 1987 and was a part of a trilogy. And it's a character that was like a hooker, and that's what he calls her.
Star Booty?
Star Booty. And they had zero budget, and they were just like literally guerrilla filming places, like going somewhere and shooting it.
Ooh.
And so there was 3 films that they shot.
Star Booty 1?
Star Booty 1, Star Booty 2, Star Booty 3.
Oh, I wish I could.
You can't find them. They're gone.
They're gone?
They're gone. You can't find them.
Maybe at like the Toronto Reference Library.
I don't know.
Maybe it's like one of those things that you can't take it out.
Yeah.
You can only view it here, and then you must leave.
Put it on the TV for you. What's really interesting about that is, so that's where, when he was working on that film, is when he first collaborated with Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbato, who at the time were a part of a group called the Fabulous Pop-Tarts.
Ups.
Yes. They were
Just
like
imagine you're just eating breakfast and you're like, that's it.
That's it.
That's
this is the name.
Yeah.
But they would go on to become the people who created World of Wonder.
Ooh.
So he's been collaborating with them for older than you and I have been around for.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a long time.
Yeah. So the trilogy existed. I think there are copies of it that must exist somewhere, but it's like you couldn't find it. There's no digital version of it.
I like a goal.
And so this will come later, but eventually Ru would then create it again in 2006 called Star Booty, and would just like redo
Not the same
film.
thing you just said.
Well, the original title, RuPaul is Star Booty, and then
Okay.
he did a new one called Star Booty.
I wish it was like Star Booty, insert here.
The tramp stamp to end all tramp stamps would be
to
the
end all tramp stamps.
And so the fun fact,
Private access only.
no, it's public access. She's a hooker.
There you go.
She's a hooker. So the fun fact about it, and I sort of mentioned this before, is before Ru was like the polished supermodel that we know her to be, she was really into like gritty punk, gender bending, and she would sometimes perform under different drag names, but it was never confirmed.
What was the name?
Cupcake or Sparkle?
No.
I think she knew that.
Welcome to the
RuPaul,
stage.
Cupcake. Yeah.
No.
So some of
That
the
doesn't fit her. And she's so tall. The
so
cupcake is
tall
like,
and
meow, meow.
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Towers over people.
So some of the things before she got like really famous, she was playing in bands, she did experimental film making, she performed in lots of small clubs, she worked lots of random jobs. I'll post a clip here now of her like just in the back of a club talking about the stuff that she would do.
Do I have my shoes? I got my shoes. I don't have any lipstick on, Nelson. My hair is a mess. I've let these men touch all over me for the money. I'm trying to pay my rent. I'm trying to get a new apartment. And I let all these men touch me. Just because I wanted the money. Isn't that terrible? What else is there? What am I going to do? I'm in show business, you know?
You gotta live, Ru.
I gotta live, right?
You have to let men touch you.
I didn't even get these. Well, I had a lot of drinks. And I said to myself, you know, what do you want? These guys, they look at you, they want to touch you. Charge them for it, damn it. What's the damn wrong with that, huh?
Girl was like
Putting in work.
She was putting in work. She was going for the money.
No, you gotta respect it, man. The hustle is hard. And if you really push through,
Totally. The thing with it that she's mentioned is that it also came with all of the trappings that you would normally have of that kind of lifestyle. So heavy party culture, very much nightlife, substance abuse, and it had sort of the creative freedom, but you didn't necessarily get the level of fame or engagement that you would want out of it. So there's all these things where she talks about she had to like search for her identity to find a way to blend those two, to be able to be sort of crass and exciting and not necessarily super politically
and not
like,
overdose.
Yeah, and also not die.
And not die.
Yeah. So she met Lady Bunny in Atlanta. They become friends, and then they sort of decide to then go to New York together. And this is where RuPaul
take my hand and let's go
off into the what's the Peter Pan?
To Neverland? Oh,
yeah.
Second star to the right and straight until morning?
Yes, exactly.
I do have that tattooed on me. It was my first ever tattoo. I'm not joking.
Slay. So that's what they did.
Right?
Yeah, off to the Lady Statue of Liberty.
She just goes like this, right? She's holding it. Yeah.
And so this was in the mid 1980s. And so this is where they go to New York and they start performing at go-go bars. And they become a fixture at a place called the Pyramid Club, which you may have heard before.
I have heard of that.
Yeah, it was really famous in New York.
I have heard
Lots of celebrities would go there. Lots of big people ended up sort of going through that place and then becoming famous people. And this is where his like drag aesthetic starts to change a little bit.
And I woke up this morning and was like, God, I'm going to be in New York and I don't have a thing packed. And I was like, throw it up. And sick.
That's great.
I don't know.
How long have you been here, standing here? How you doing, Nelson? Great to see you.
Good to see you. Everybody's been waiting for you.
Huh?
Everybody's been waiting for you.
Really?
When he gets his first sort of like national attention is that he's cast as an extra in Love Shack by the B-52s.
Love Shack.
Baby Love Shack. Yeah, so he was cast in the music video and they loved him so much.
I don't think I've ever seen that music video, so now I gotta go back.
Yeah. He's like the main feature. She's like in it all over the place.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yes, it's really cool. And the song, part of it, so obviously people were like, oh my God, what is it? They're sort of like titillated by this like this drag queen. Because she's like, even though she's beautiful, it's kind of obviously like not a woman.
Yeah.
And especially at this time, because it's a little bit before her look becomes a supermodel look, that people were like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then it debuts on number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Ooh.
So it was a big deal for her. And it was the first time many Americans would then start to come to know this person named RuPaul. So
just takes one big break, huh?
One big break. So through that, around the same time is also where she meets this person named Matthew Anderson.
Okay.
So early seasons of Drag Race, basically Drag Race season 1 to 9, there's sometimes you may recognize him. There was a bearded guy, had white hair, beard. He was often a photographer and was usually like in 1 or 2 episodes each season.
Once I see a picture, it'll come back to me. But I feel like season 1 to 9 was like 20,000 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time
like
ago.
so long ago. So now I'm starting to blank, but I'm gonna look again.
Yeah. So, but he's credited. Basically, they meet, and he's sort of credited as the architect of what RuPaul's look becomes. So for like almost 30 years, they collaborated as
a supermodel of the world.
That's right. So he served as RuPaul's personal hair and makeup artist, creative producer, and photographer, and took her from downtown club style to supermodel of the world aesthetic. So RuPaul often refers to Anderson created the monster. That's what RuPaul calls herself, as the like glamazon, the monster.
Yeah, I knew the glamazon.
A hyper glamorous goddess-like facade that separates the performer from her civilian identity.
Same.
And so, right? Which is kind of, when you think about it, would be really difficult when your name, your performer name, and your personal name is the same thing. Because, like, for instance, you have like Lady Gaga. She can go about, like, she's ultra recognizable, but her name's Stephanie Germanotta.
Or you have, Beyonce's Beyonce, but then you have Sasha Fierce.
Exactly. So Anderson really helped to sort of create this version. And then that's when she sort of starts to take off, like when it goes crazy. So the B-52s, the image changes, and then she releases her first single, Supermodel.
Ooh.
So do you remember like when the first time you heard that song? Supermodel
Was the first time?
Cover girl.
I don't
Like,
remember the first time,
No?
but a long time ago. But I couldn't put a, finger on when, but a long time ago.
do you remember the first time you like was Drag Race your first time being introduced to RuPaul? Or did you know
No,
who he was before
I knew who
then?
he was before.
Okay.
But obviously it was like a hurricane of information
Yeah.
then.
Do you
but no-
remember what like how you were first
I
introduced
remember
to him?
like either snippets on like MTV or something. I remember like when Rue would do like interviews on the street.
Okay, yeah.
And I can like see the outfit in my head right now, like
Okay.
a white tee, but like super tall and like
Yeah.
blonde hair. But I don't remember what network, but I do remember
Okay.
before Drag Race.
So, I mean, it came out in 1993, so I obviously did not hear this song when it first came out because I would have been like not even 2.
Mhm.
But that song was my first like introduction into RuPaul.
Mm.
I remember I couldn't have been more than like maybe 11 or 12, and we were camping with family friends, and this one family friend had this like binder of CDs.
Oh, the binders of CDs.
The binder
I had
of
a wall
CDs.
of CDs. It's like the thing that you can put just like the sleeves.
Yeah.
I had a wall of it.
Yeah, so he had a binder of that he would bring with us
Understand.
camping, and in one of them was Supermodel by RuPaul.
It don't matter what you wear, don't matter what you wear. They're checking out your savoir faire. And it don't matter what you do, 'cause everything looks good on you. Supermodel, work, cover girl, work it girl, do your thing on the runway, work.
Remember him playing that and me being like, what
What
is this? What is this? What is this? And then I remember,
My gay tween
oh my
self
God,
was
it like,
flickering.
yeah, like got right under my skin. And I didn't really understand what it was. Like, how can you conceptualize that?
Yeah.
But I remember being like, I love this song and like twerking my little white ass to that.
Whilst camping.
Whilst camping.
Yeah.
And then learning like that, oh yeah, this is like actually a man. He dresses up like a woman. And like, I didn't necessarily be like, oh my God, what's that? I was like, oh, crazy. But Supermodel is like really what took RuPaul, like all of these things, all of this culmination of stuff. And then you have Supermodel.
That was the change.
That's what the change. It becomes a dance hit, enters MTV rotation, made RuPaul a mainstream celebrity, and brought drag into the suburban living rooms through the music video.
Through the suburban living rooms.
And so
the downtown folk already watched.
oh my gosh, they could see the posters of
Exactly.
RuPaul. And so from there, things sort of just like really start to rapidly happen. RuPaul is like featured in movies. She was in Crooklyn, Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar.
Mm.
And then in 1994, so a year later, she becomes the first drag queen to ever sign a major cosmetic contract with MAC Cosmetics for MAC Viva Glam.
I never knew that.
Oh my God, yeah. She was it's actually, he's credited as the first man to ever receive a makeup contract.
I want to see what that line looks like.
It's just one. It's the red Viva Glam red lipstick. But
Okay.
the picture of it is iconic. It's Rue in this like, she has obviously this high blonde wig. She's in this like sheer or like red leather thing. And then she's posing as the letters for Viva Glam. It's iconic. I will show it to you. I'm surprised you've
Okay.
never seen it. It's
No.
incredible.
When I think of like, because like Selena, like obviously this is like past her passing, but like Selena had a line with MAC for
okay.
the red lipstick. And
Yeah.
so
It's really just the best thing for me because I've worn makeup since I was 5 years old. That's a trip, okay? And this is my crowning glory of anyone who's ever worn makeup.
Were they ever scolding you for doing it way back
No,
then?
you know, I grew up in a house full of girls, and there was always makeup and clothes, and everything was there. And they were all very loving, you know. So, no, they never chastised me for anything creative. I think that's a loving thing. Makeup never hurt anybody.
okay.
Yeah. So
I am being educated.
Educated.
Hope y'all are as
So
well.
it goes crazy. So he does that. that. It's groundbreaking. It's also like huge for a drag queen because now there's like billboards of Mac Viva Glam all over like North America of RuPaul, a drag queen, that people are like being sort of having to engage with it. And then 1996 comes around and RuPaul gets his first TV show, like that it's syndicated to him, which was on VH1, and it's The RuPaul Show.
The RuPaul Show.
So he co-hosts it with Michelle Visage.
Wow.
They did over 100 episodes in the 2 years that it was around for, from 1996 to 1998.
Yes.
And then it continues to normalize drag in a daytime format.
In that time, had Michelle already started her girl group?
Yes, it would have been, because when did the Bodyguard come out? Because they have track 9 on the Bodyguard soundtrack.
She always loves to be like,
she loves to say that.
I'm a part of that.
And Michelle Visage is her own, like we should do an episode on her because she's also just as interesting.
She is quite interesting.
But her and RuPaul had already been friends for a really long time. That was like how they started to do this. But it's interesting to know that like their friendship on this show that everyone's so like well known now actually goes back even further than that.
I think that's why she's like a staple. One, you can't have like Drag Race without RuPaul, but I also don't think you can have it without Michelle.
No, it's true.
It just like, it would be very strange.
Well, and even so there's Drag Race Down Under, which is that one that's like Australia and New Zealand. RuPaul has since stepped away and Michelle is now the host of it.
Like, when you have like the other shows like that, like from different countries and things, but like the main one just would make no sense.
Yeah, it would
like just cancel the whole thing if they're not both on
if
it
there's
together.
if there's no RuPaul.
They need both of them to be there.
Yeah, and so there's like that era of like the late 90s, that show, all of these are being in these movies, this music. It also starts to do the effect of drag queens as a concept start to be brought into. So it's not just RuPaul. Like obviously RuPaul is everywhere, but then like you start to have like daytime talk shows where they have like segments about drag queens, and you have drag queens being like asked to be a part of different things in media, and they're also being seen in like
integrating more
exactly
because of the work that Ru.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, obviously she's the biggest one and continues to be the biggest one, but like it's that term, rising tides raise all ships, like hers going up, everyone else's is going up too. But it's interesting because it sort of, it reaches this pinnacle of this show that she has. She's in all these things. And then sort of the early 2000s, happen and she starts to fade. She just like can't seem to like hold on to relevancy. So he's super financially successful. He becomes a multimillionaire, which at the time for like a queer art, like an openly queer artist drag queen to be a multimillionaire is crazy. But he seems to be unable to like get any major media to like do anything with him anymore. He doesn't have a show anymore. He's not in movies. He releases another album. RuPaul is Red Hot. And it's like basically she can't even pay people to advertise it for her.
So then she's like, I gotta do something for myself.
Yeah. So she starts to sort of like, people would say fade into obscurity. And so for about...
With my millions.
Yeah, with
I
my
don't
millions.
Mind. I'll do it.
For probably like 10 years a bit-ish.
It's a long time, actually.
She basically lives in LA, and this is sort of like anecdotally, drag queens will say that like RuPaul attends a lot of drag shows, doesn't perform, but is like going and seeing them and like watching them. And that's sort of where the impetus of the show happens.
Like, you know what? I'm seeing what I could do here.
Yeah. So it's crazy to think about it, but the first, like the premiere season of RuPaul's Drag Race is 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was filmed originally in 2008. And it was originally, the concept was America's Next Drag Superstar. So it was meant to be basically America's Next Top Model, which you can tell very clearly even in the show today. But at the time, it was like even more so built around that. And RuPaul wasn't just the host. He was the executive director, brand architect, cultural creator, and then he was the mentor figure. So he basically played all of the different roles that you would normally have.
Was he also the cameraman?
It seems like it. But like,
he just put it on like like a tripod and just said, let's just hope
Go.
for the whole season.
Rub
let's
that
just...
Vaseline over the film and let's do it.
Do you have that in there as to why it was so blurry? Like no one wanted to fix that?
It was intentional, and it was
intentionally
yeah, it was intentional.
blurry?
Yeah, it was intended to sort of give this like Gaussian effect so that like the drag would look better. The concern is always that like drag lighting has to be really good for drag to like, so you don't see the lace lines, so you don't see like the harsh contour.
Yeah.
So they did it on purpose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They thought it would give like a dreamy Gaussian effect.
But you know when you're watching something and they go into a dream?
Yeah.
Or like a go back moment?
Yeah.
Then yeah, that makes sense. But when it's the entirety
it seemed wrong.
It seemed like someone like forgot to press something.
Well, and so it was also like super low budget.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah. And so that's why Ru, like when you watch America's Next Top Model, you have Lady J, you have what's the other guy? The blonde one?
Yeah.
What's his name? What's his
la,
name?
La, 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 J.
La,
no, that's
la,
Jay.
la, la.
And then there's...
I thought her name
we'll discuss this.
Anyways.
No, because there's Jay. There's two Jays.
Okay.
There's the British one. Then there's like...
Yeah. Anyways,
one.
but they all had their purpose, right? There was like Tyra, and RuPaul was all of them. RuPaul was meant to be the combination. He's like also the Tim Gunn. He's also the blah 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 blah.
Project Runway.
Yeah, and they're soft focus Vaseline filter, tiny prize money. But the original cast of Queens on the first season were like mega, like relatively quite large, like in terms of careers, drag queens, because they didn't think that they would get to do more than one. And so they handpicked all these people because nobody was applying for it. So the first 3 seasons of Drag Race, some people applied, but some people were just selected because of Ru had been watching them for years.
You know when they say like at work you're always
being watched?
Like you're like the interview doesn't start at the beginning of the interview. Like you always were being interviewed.
It's true.
So like
live your life as if RuPaul is watching you.
So as you hear listening to or watching, it's always an interview.
Well, and Ru has a really famous line, which is like, "Don't dress for the job you want." That's why
that part.
He always comes to the workroom in that like basically a suit, and like he wears suits all the time, is because he's like, you need to dress for the job you want.
Steve Harvey must have like a very lucrative business with suits.
Oh, of course.
Because the amount of suits, never a repeat.
No, never, not once. Yeah, RuPaul has said that he has like quite an archival thing of both his drag and his suits, which is really cool. So he's back. It's 2009, and RuPaul has said, "You thought I was dead? Well, guess what, bitch? I'm back."
And on top, as always.
And so then it just sort of like the first season is kind of a cult hit. The second season, people start to watch. The third season, they're getting more budget. By the fourth season, things really start to take off for them. That's when it sort of like hits like a shift in more and more people are watching it. And then it just sort of like exponentially takes off from there.
I think I started at 3 or 4.
4 was the first season.
I had to go back.
Yeah, me
later
too.
in life to see the ones, but I think 4 was my first.
4 was mine too, which would have been 2013.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it goes from it's multiple international franchises, all-star seasons, record-setting Emmy wins. RuPaul holds the record for the most Emmy wins of a person of color, which is crazy.
Love.
Then he has the podcast, What's the Tea with Michelle Visage from 2014 to 2020, where they do 248 episodes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Globally touring industry, merchandising empire, and economic opportunities for hundreds of queens.
Yes, and when you think also of like, for example, you have like the queens in Vegas and different shows like around the world. Like, I wonder what the commission is on that.
Oh, it's got to be, I mean, she's set for life, but she said she's going to be the host as long as she can
stand.
Yeah, as long as she can stand. So like a brief summary if you're new here and you've never watched Drag Race.
What?
RuPaul's Drag Race.
Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome to our podcast. RuPaul's Drag Race premiered in 2009 on Logo as a low-budget campy reality competition created by RuPaul and producers Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbato, the people he did that movie with the goal of crowning America's next drag superstar. What began with the Vaseline-filtered cameras, a modest cash prize, and a niche LGBTQ plus audience quickly grew into a cultural phenomenon thanks to viral queens iconic challenges like the Snatch Game, and the now legendary lip sync for your life.
Yes.
The show's 2017 move to VH1 marked its mainstream breakthrough, bringing higher production value, larger audiences, and major celebrity guest judges. It soon became an Emmy-winning powerhouse, with RuPaul setting the record for hosting wins. The franchise expanded into All-Stars, multiple international editions, including RuPaul's Drag Race UK and Canada's Drag Race, which is actually quite good, transforming drag into a global industry.
Yeah.
Despite controversies and evolving conversations around inclusivity and commercialization, Drag Race has undeniably shaped pop culture, launching hundreds of careers and cementing itself as one of the most influential reality franchises of the 21st century.
Absolutely. And even when you think about it, even drag shows in your city have gone up way more due to it.
Yeah, and so I have that in the like cultural impact section because it's just like it's sort of unbelievable where we're at because of that. But in terms of like sort of getting into back to his personal life while this is all happening. So Ru talks about having like not a lot of relationships. He's often like sort of described himself as like an individual person and has like not necessarily felt the need to be in a relationship. But he has a long-term partner. It's an Australian man named Georges Labar.
Georges Labar.
They met in the 1990s.
Well.
It totally does. It totally does.
It does.
So they met in the 1990s and they had sort of an on again, off again relationship. They were like together. Georges is actually younger, but is similarly, I think he's taller than RuPaul, which is like kind of hard to believe.
What is the height of Ru?
I think Ru is 6'3".
Okay.
And Georges is 6'5".
In heels.
Girl, that's why she's an Amazon. And so they're extremely private. You don't really know much about their relationship. They did get married in 2017.
I didn't know that.
And they maintain a property in Wyoming. So Georges is...
Wyoming is wild.
Wild.
They
do also have an open relationship. That's something that Ru has talked a lot about and is sort of a proponent of that, which is kind of interesting. And so Ru sort of says... if you listen to or read the book House of Hidden Meanings, the memoir, it actually ends right before he gets the deal for Drag Race, which is actually it's such a tease.
So it's like, I'm going to make a new book.
Another one.
And you're going to pay for that one too.
But it sort of chronicles all of the things up to Drag Race, including his relationship with George, and then it ends. And it's like fascinating because then for me, I was like, I didn't know any of these things, but I have been such a like Drag Race person. I've watched all of the seasons at least 3 times, probably.
And then it helps link everything.
It links everything. And so you're like, oh my gosh, this is like, wow, this all makes sense. Like, because also Ru's had like, Netflix deals. He had that TV show. He has a movie coming out. But even throughout the show, you don't ever learn much about his personal life.
No.
He very
if like a sprinkling of things would be said, but very minimal.
Yeah. And so his sort of like catchphrase is, what other people think of me is none of my business.
Oh,
another great.
I love that line.
Yeah.
It is not my business what you think about me.
Totally. And
it's
so
my business.
She just goes about her life and does the things she needs to do.
As one should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So putting all that together, I don't even think it's possible to really say the major cultural impact that RuPaul has had on culture globally. Because not only, so a couple of like sort of main things, RuPaul has shifted drag from underground to mainstream, for sure. And it's important to note, RuPaul is the most famous drag queen, but was not the only drag queen that was like in media. You have Divine, who is in those John Waters movies. You have, and like a lot of RuPaul will say, so to go back to the beginning, RuPaul was inspired by his mother in terms of like, and his sisters around his femininity and like that kind of stuff. But then he is such a lover of drag that like so much of his drag incorporates these elements that he's learned from people.
Who would you think? Okay, obviously, RuPaul's at the top of drag.
Yeah.
Who would you think is like the next person that would be as popular or just slightly under?
Yeah.
In terms of popularity.
So I think Pablo Vittar, the Brazilian drag queen and singer, would actually be in some instances even more popular than RuPaul is now.
Really?
Yeah, and at least from a social media and like career and stuff like that. Like nobody's done what RuPaul like. Pablo Vittar doesn't have the same cultural impact, but there would be in certain places more people would know Pablo Vittar because she's just a singer, like, and an actress and Brazilian and stuff, and so she's like,
interesting.
Yeah. But in terms of like being able to have the impact, like nobody even comes close. I would say maybe Trixie Mattel would be next after her. Maybe Bianca Del Rio.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's Trixie though. Trixie, Bob the Drag Queen, Katya, Monet. That sort of combo of those four probably make up like
Alyssa Edwards.
But I don't know if Alyssa is like as like she's great and incredible, but I think relatively to well-knownness.
Yeah.
Those four basically make up one RuPaul. They're like the Infinity Stones of RuPaul.
Yes, I love that. Okay, I love that.
So, he shifted global perception of drag artistry, expanded LGBTQ visibility worldwide, created generational wealth opportunities for queer performers and performance spaces. He also basically reinvigorated nightlife for the queer community, got drag queens booked and busy, got them before.
You want to have a brunch?
You want to have a brunch?
You have a drag brunch.
You sure do.
Yeah.
And before Drag Race, like there was basically Logo, which was like the gay channel that was doing their like.
I paid for the membership.
I loved it.
I did pay for the membership.
OTV, Logo, shout out.
OTV,
But there was nothing mainstream like that.
No.
And nothing as high budget or as nearly as remotely watched as Drag Race. And so it's just crazy to think about in terms of awards and accolades. Like, so Ru is in his 60s now, still going strong, but RuPaul has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he was inducted in 2018. In 2019, he became the first drag queen inducted into the California Hall of Fame. He's won 14 Primetime Emmy Awards, including 8 for Outstanding Host or Reality Competition, which makes him the most awarded in that category, as well as the most awarded person of color in Emmy history. His other notable accolades include a Tony Award, 2 Billboard Music Awards, 4 Canadian Screen Awards, 10 Critics' Choice Awards, a Critics' Choice Award, 4 GLAAD Media Awards, including GLAAD Vito Russo Award in 1999, 5 Producer Awards for the Guild of American Awards, and it also has a Guinness World Record title. Because of Drag Race. The reality TV show has the most Emmy nominations of any reality TV show with 39.
I wonder if her back is in pain.
I think she must.
Holding up
and if that
damn world.
If that wasn't enough, in 2020, a species of Australian soldier fly was named Upaluma RuPaul. The name was chosen in reference to the fly's costume of a shiny metallic rainbow color.
So wait, what? This is a bug?
Yeah. An ant. Yeah.
An ant?
Yeah. But that's forever. That's forever.
Who could say
you had an animal named
I'm gooped with that. That's so cool.
So good.
What's the full name of the ants?
It's the Upaluma RuPaul.
The Upaluma RuPaul.
Yeah.
If you stand out here in the wilderness,
you'll see
you can find
the Upaluma RuPaul.
Yeah. Don't be too loud, or else it will fly away.
But you'll be mesmerized by its rainbow metallic sheen. So
that's fantastic.
Part of this and part of why I want to do this is I think RuPaul is a really fascinating person. It's important to know that like RuPaul is not like a stranger to controversy. There's been many controversies throughout his life. We don't really need to go into many of those. And I think most of them have sort of been somewhat adjusted. Like there was the stuff about no trans people on Drag Race for a long time, but now that's totally changed.
Even the name,
for the beginning, you've got Shemale. Yeah.
You got Shemale. There's also like the winner, the women.
I made the best woman win. Now it's the best drag queen
exactly.
win. Yeah. So he definitely has like adapted to the times, but it was not without struggle. But I think all of that doesn't discredit the fact that like we so much of like the media that we watch, especially what I watch and what I engage with, and like the careers of many people that even we know, like have been impacted positively by RuPaul. And it's important to like, I think, know that history and like give flowers to the people while they're still alive.
I was just about to say that people need to get their flowers while they're alive, but it's also like I could only imagine you could either become very egotistical or like somehow stay humble when like that you created this universe. Like you must feel like oof. Well, the level of like pride
totally
is crazy, but that it could also be very daunting.
Yeah,
it's
for
like,
sure.
Yeah, I'm 60, but I'm not dead. But like,
what's
what else can I like? I've done it. I've done it all.
Yeah, there are 20 international seasons and 20 international franchises and over 70 seasons.
Like, unless like on the planet of Uranus, like there's like
Uranus or mine.
Like there's a RuPaul like
they're gonna rename
amusement
it.
park.
Yeah,
like there. I don't know like how you get bigger than this, but then at the same point, I don't think you need to either. You could also like sit and
rest on your laurels.
Yeah, and just be like, look what I've done, and then support others who are trying to do the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these things that you're making here is it's like,
well, and
not everything is just hand fed to you. You got to really put.
Well, and this is the thing. I've covered like maybe a sliver of his career. Like he also had like I can't remember in the somewhat recently had a very short-lived talk show called RuPaul that was only got a couple of episodes and then they didn't keep it. He's the host of a couple of like game shows.
Ooh.
That's happened. Like he is like, to what you're saying, RuPaul releases an album every single year.
Oh, yeah.
That woman, man, drag queen
girls
goes.
Bring back my girls.
She does her 4 seasons of Drag Race that she's going. Then she goes to the studio and records an album. Like, not resting on laurels, not even close.
No,
and I think she.
You know what I heard?
RuPaul for president.
RuPaul for president. Okay, so I heard, and I would assume this is true because you're sitting down, that she no longer like tucks because like I'm sitting down behind the judges' table.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. I mean, and I think a lot of drag queens would say it depends on like what you're wearing. But yeah, the gag is that she wears sweatpants underneath. And people always talk about that.
Do it.
You're sitting there for a long time.
All of these things.
Yeah.
Sit down, comfortable
let
girl.
the lady wear the sweatpants.
Let her wear the sweatpants. But it always kills me when they take the photo with the guests that are there.
Yeah.
And they all look like the
tiny
the
people.
ants?
Ants.
They look like tiny little ants in comparison to the super model of the world.
Glamazon.
The Glamazon who towers over them.
Totally. And the thing about RuPaul is that amongst all of this, she's like always kind of kept a similar sort of message, which is about love, which I think is really cool. And obviously you hear with every episode, but if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else?
Can I get an amen?
Can I get an amen? Amen. And I feel like that's one of, for sure, her most impactful quote. And there's been many moments in my life where I've thought about that. And I think many people have. And so, the message of love, like, let's keep it going, RuPaul. Let's keep it pushing.
When you think about, obviously, the political landscape of it all, right? Like, when especially America are like, drag is the thing that's killing our kids, take it out of
when the message is love.
When the message is love.
It's so silly.
Come on. The little bit of makeup and a dress is not going to change this thought that they're going to become evil children.
No.
Right? Like it's crazy. And so like what you said, the message is love.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think to wrap it all up with a nice bow, you cannot talk about the modern history of drag without RuPaul.
Absolutely not.
She's changed the shape of it, the face of it, the notoriety of it, and I think we're all better for it.
Yeah, and I do think that like fashion is also very much integrated in
so much of pop culture,
exactly,
music.
Oh,
yeah. So much of it is all like when you think about like so many guest judges want to go on the show because they've been inspired by of course
us. Please,
we would
please,
love to be.
We would love to. That would be amazing.
That would be incredible.
I would want to read. I'd bring my glasses for the library.
we just
That's
both
always
put
one
them
of my
on.
favorite episodes.
So
I'm like
good.
ready for the read.
Well, and think about how much language has even been changed by RuPaul's Drag Race. Like so much of the and sometimes for better or for worse, like a lot of like the ballroom like terminology that people use is colloquial because of Drag Race. Like people know it like slay, boots a house down, work, yas, all of that is originally from ballroom and from the people of color, but Drag Race is what brought it to the masses.
Yep.
So there's so much, it's hard to even conceptualize it all.
Absolutely. I think that, knowledge is power, and there's so much of this I did not know.
I'm so glad I taught you something
and it just
new.
now when I watch it, I'll be like,
wow.
Girl, you did that.
You did that. You did that.
You doing that.
Yeah.
You still continuing to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So thank you.
You're so welcome.
Look at this. Did you guys know a lot about this?
You know I love a researcher. So
you love research. I'm surprised you didn't find something like that for your, occupation. Like a researcher.
Yeah. I mean, I think because I like to do it so much in my personal life.
You don't want to put it into it. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I do it for this, and I love it.
There we go.
And it's so
your
fun.
Profession of URDONE.
Mm-hmm.
Merci beaucoup.
You're so welcome. Who would you like us to do next? Who do you want me to do a deep dive on next time? Because I'm always ready to go down a Wikipedia dive.
Now I'm thinking about who would I do for you.
Oh, you've got some people.
You know who pops in my mind?
Who?
Miss Whitney.
That would be
good.
One for Miss Whitney. Let's do one on Whitney. I would love that.
Yes. I can definitely do that.
Okay, slay. Well, next episode we have some more exciting things. It may be related to this. It may not. We'll see.
It may not.
But as always, subscribe, comment below. Let us know. What do you think of RuPaul? What did I miss? What should we include next time?
Yes. Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. Bye.
Bye, y'all. Mwah.
Mwah.
Cute.
Everybody say love.
Love.